Hello and welcome to the Best Company Podcast. I'm Justin Ashby. Today, we have Joshua Buck joining us, who is the founder and CEO of Summit Piano Moving. So thanks for joining us, Joshua.
Anytime, man. Happy to be here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Joshua has a fascinating story, and he started this piano moving company from the ground up. And obviously, Joshua, I'm sure he's got some great stories to tell as he's built this business and his own story as well. So we'll get right into it. Joshua, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what it took to start Summit Piano Moving?
Well, it took a lot. A lot of people ask me, that's simple. That's a simple business. But, as far as all of you guys know, starting a business, no matter what it is not easy. So it takes a lot. You got to find the right people to surround yourself with. You have to learn everything from just how to build it, from the ground to marketing to accounting to anything you can think of. And so it's been a blast getting it from the ground up. I couldn't do it without the guys I have with me now, but it has been awesome building and getting to this point.
Now, did you kind of stop what you were doing and just say, I'm going to go all in on this business, or were you doing it kind of after hours at first to get things going? Like, what did the early days look like for you?
Yeah. Oh man. So I moved pianos before a while ago, kind of learned the trade a little bit. After taking a year off, going to school a little, starting a job, full-time job, I got a hold of my buddy that I moved pianos with before and we got super good at, and said, hey, we got really good at this. You want to start it after hours? Let's just get this thing going. And we would both get off of our full-time jobs at 4 or 5 p.m. and go move till sometimes only 9 or 10 at night, but we would move once in a while until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Moving pianos. And so it started out as almost a second full-time job after hours, until obviously it turned into where we could both do it as our main thing and full-time job, going all day, every day.
How do you find business, and how do businesses find you? It's such a fascinating, I'm sure there's certainly an online search aspect to it, maybe referrals. What's been kind of the way that you've grown your business?
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was kind of just reaching out. I would reach out to all the people kind of in the piano industry that I would think could maybe get me some business to start. I'd reach out to piano tuners, guys that repair pianos, restore pianos, just anybody that I would think, okay, they need to get a piano somewhere at some point. And so I would cold call, I'd Google piano tuners, and I'd call 10 and just be like, hey, wondering if you wanted to kind of do a referral thing where if you refer me to move pianos, I'll refer you to tune them. And out of all those cold calls, got maybe a couple that did it. And so that's kind of when the referrals started. I'd get a call that said, hey, so-and-so referred me that you'd move a piano. So that's kind of how it started. And then once there was kind of enough to start getting paid ads, I, started with $100 a month on Google and
Awesome.
would get, 1 or 2 a week. And obviously, just put it all 100% back into being able to up that advertising. And now, go from 100 to 400 to 1,000, just to be able to try and get that. So that's the biggest point. But then, of course, once you get your name out there and you provide customers with a good experience, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their family. And so I would say a portion has definitely grown to, word of mouth referrals, which is huge, which I love. They come in with confidence already that they've heard you're awesome. And so that's been the biggest way that we've been able to grow with the advertising aspect of things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Joshua, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background? You said you were kind of moving pianos and you learned the trade a little bit, wanted to start your own thing. What about you? What's your background?
So some people close to me kind of describe me as being all over the place. always trying to figure out what's next or what can I do, just all over. I mean, pianos is something nobody thinks about, and I get it all the time. So that's another thing I just was like, it's all over the place. So I grew up, I was always a sports guy. Always, my dad was in the NFL before I was born, and so grew up doing that, football, basketball, my whole life. My goal of life was to be in the NFL, following my dad's footsteps, of course. And when that didn't end up working out, the other goal I always had was I want to start a business, I want to own a company. And so I always had that in the back of my mind. And so when the football career ended in college and everything, everything pointed me towards, okay, well, what's the next step I need to take to start a business? So that's kind of about me. My identity almost has always been sports, and that, how do you even explain it? The aspect of just wanting to learn and grow. And so I've got, I have a wonderful, beautiful wife that I have to help me throughout the way, so everything that has to do with me was just figuring out how to reach my goals of, it was sports, but now just to start a business. That's what my life revolves around now, that and my wife.
What part of that's great that you have that support system, and cool that you had, a dad that helped push you to try to reach your goals. And how do you feel like, is it the competitive nature of sports, or is it kind of building teams or strategizing? Like what aspects of sports do you feel like has helped you build this company?
I'd say all of it. Competitiveness is really, really big. You always, you see people around you, and it may be a subconscious thing of wanting to compete. You see somebody successful, you want to be successful as well. And so I think in my mind, okay, what do I need to do to be successful or more successful than that person? Not to tear them down by any means, but how do I compete with them, or how do I compete with myself to be the best version or to be better? Team building is huge. I love people. I love my friends, and I love my family. When I I always think to myself, they're kind of a team. Your family is a team in a sense. My best friend, who is, in this business with me, is so important. That team building thing is what I say, keeps this company going.
Mm-hmm.
And then strategizing, what do I need to do to grow? What do I need to do to expand? What do I need to, what do we need to do as a team to help this company grow? Because whether I'm just the founder and the CEO or whatever, I'm nothing without my team. And so that's probably the biggest thing I've gotten from sports, is the team building and the competitiveness to be the best. But again, I wouldn't be able to do it without the team I have.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. What has it been like, competing? I mean, in what areas do you support? What, how has that been as kind of a new business coming in? And obviously you learn from another, from working at another place. So what has that been, kind of introducing a new business to a market?
Yeah. So there's not a massive amount of competitiveness in the market, but at the same time, since it's a smaller market, there's only a few of us. So in a sense, it does make it more competitive, but there's a lot of room to grow. The other company I worked for, definitely, it's created a little bit of a rivalry. I respect him definitely for teaching me the trade. I mean, I wouldn't have started this if I didn't learn it from him. So there's definitely respect there. I don't know exactly how he feels since I started this, but I haven't heard from him. So hopefully he's not too upset.
Yeah.
But that competitiveness, it drives me. There's been a couple others start that, after me. But, if I see them doing something, my competitive nature is, okay, they took a step forward. I need to take a step forward. I need to take a risk, or I need to do something to compete with them, and basically just keep trying to get myself to the top.
Yeah. Very cool. So at what stage is your business right now? Are you looking to kind of expand your footprint, how, the zip codes that you operate in, or, or statewide too? I looked at your website, a lot of cities in Utah. You even mentioned you had installed a lot of pianos in the Parade of Homes just this last year for Utah. Very cool. Yeah. What's your strategy moving forward? Do you want to keep expanding the zip codes you're operating in, or saturate more of the market? What's the strategy right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we did install a few into the Parade of Homes. MJ Pianos was, he has a store, and so we moved pianos for him into the Parade of Homes. And I think it was about 5 or so, which was awesome. It was awesome to, be able to tell some people, hey, you see a piano in there. It was most likely us that moved it in. And so we did that. Expansion wise, my goal is definitely to get more zip codes, basically, expand to the whole state. Right now, we're really, our footprint's really from the south of Utah County up to Salt Lake. We are getting into, Davis and Weber County a lot more now. But, the goal is to be able to have a bigger footprint in Logan, which is a little further away, and St. George, which could be its own footprint because It's just exploding. Mm-hmm. So that would definitely be the next stage, is to grow that footprint to just starting to take over the state. As I tell people, I want to take it over. So I want to run it.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. What's it been like finding team members, recruiting, finding people, to do this craft? It's. I'm sure there's some technicalities to it. You can't just grab anyone to join the team. What's that been like?
It's a lot harder than you'd think. I've seen some of those gurus, rah guys out there saying, if you can't find people, then you're the problem. But when you talk to people about moving pianos, everyone thinks it's the worst thing ever. So nobody wants to do it. Until you learn, it's crazy how often I have to tell people, once you get it down, it is so much easier than you'd ever think. It's just, if you can just leverage, use your body a little bit, it's a lot easier than you'd think. I mean, obviously you're handling some furniture items that are worth $150,000. But if you know the craft, then it's easy. So finding people is harder than you'd think. And then also finding the right people. Yeah. Like I've said a couple times, Brandon, who has been with me since day one, is invaluable. You find those people that are invaluable to you and you hope never leave. And now we've able to bring on someone else that's very close to me, and he's awesome too. He's learned the trade and he's fantastic. But kind of getting your name out there to expand and say, hey, we're looking to hire, a lot of people see piano moving on the headline and they're like, oof, I don't want to do that. I'd rather go move furniture. When in fact, if you come move pianos, all of us say we would never want to go furniture move ever again. It's
a good pitch. Yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely, something that I'll have to learn. That's another, that's something I haven't had yet, is how do I really find people or find guys to come work? But obviously as we grow and expand more, that's going to be a problem that I'll have to solve.
Yeah. Yeah. As we're wrapping up here, Joshua, what's you've obviously engaged with us, bestcompany.com, building a profile, kind of working on that online reputation. I saw you have a number of Google reviews currently as well. What's your online reputation strategy? Obviously, to move such an expensive item, you dropped a number. I mean, we are fortunate enough to have a piano, and it is not a $150,000 piano.
Those are rare.
For that type of a move, you probably have to have a really solid reputation. And so I ask you, how are you building that reputation online with your customers? Like I mentioned, I saw Google reviews. You're building up your profile and reputation on Best Company as well. What's been that process for you building your reputation?
Oh man, that has probably been the most important thing to me through this entire process. Before even starting it, my number one goal was making sure that the customers we have are happy. And so I've always said, and my buddy agrees with me, whenever we leave a home, we want to make sure that that customer is happy and satisfied with the process that we gave them. It can be a little technical because you quote people on the phone, and when you show up, situations can be different. But if you have to change quotes on people or change things, people get upset. And so we have to find a way to handle that situation and keep them happy, but also, make sure that it makes sense for us. And so building that reputation has just been making sure the customer is happy. If they are happy, you can tell within 5 minutes if the customer is going to be happy with you when you leave. And so when they do, we just, hey, we hope you loved our service today. If you'd go leave us a review, we would very much appreciate it. And we also create those relationships from second one when I answer the phone. I just start out with my name. I honestly don't start out with the business I'm with. I start out with my name, and I just treat them like we're already in business. And before even giving them a price, I just want to be as kind and friendly as possible. So I feel like it's from second one, whether they decide to go with us or not, to the second we close the door when we finish delivering their piano. So just the whole time providing the best experience possible is what builds our reputation of just being friendly, kind, professional, making sure that when they move piano again, they obviously want to use us.
Very cool. Very insightful, inspiring. Obviously, that focusing on the customer experience and using your name. I thought that was an interesting thing. I hadn't, brand perception, brand experience. There's so many things tied to a brand nowadays, and obviously this is your business, so much easier to tie to your name. But just the fact that you're the one,
that's true.
But the fact that you're the one answering the phones and you are quickly sharing your name and building a relationship with that person, I think that does say something as to the effect you're trying to give on the customer. So that's very cool. Parting thoughts. I wanted to ask you craziest piano moving story, and I don't want to dilute the customer experience you offer, but maybe there is a worst possible situation you had to use the old insurance for or something. I don't know. Do you have anything there?
I will knock on wood and say we have never had to use the insurance. We just take it easy. But craziest experience, and Brandon will laugh because I'll make sure he listens to this. It was probably within the first 6 months that we started doing this. It was we were up in Ogden all the way from Provo, snowy, truck and trailer still, didn't have a van. And we go from a house up in the hills to, we're trying to get down a hill that's not been plowed. I'm kind of touching the brakes and trailers hitting curbs, trying not to roll off the cliff. But then on our way home, we're on I-15 this is probably about 1 in the morning now, maybe 11, right there, just finishing up the day, heading home. And I think we might have had a piano that we were on our way to deliver. That was the one I told you, 3 a.m. actually.
Yeah.
We were on our way to deliver our last piano from up north. We're going about 106 south on the freeway, and we're heading over kind of the overpass. And obviously it's so late in the night, it's cold, everything's frozen over, truck and trailer. And all of a sudden I'm driving, and doesn't matter where I turn the wheel, we're sliding on black ice. Ugh. And all of a sudden, that trailer pulls us to the side, and we both look to our right, and we're parallel with the trailer. And then when we stop, I'm looking at the traffic coming my way. So I did a 180.
Yeah.
Somehow didn't hit a dry spot and flip. Somehow didn't happen, but we're both freaking out. And, we turn and we make it the rest of the way with a blizzard at 3 in the morning.
My goodness.
But that's still to this day something we'll talk about with the piano moving. That's insane. I mean, we don't know how. I mean, we know how, but how we didn't get hurt, how nothing happened to the piano and the trailer. If I'm remembering right, that was a $20,000 piano.
Of course.
And so we checked the trailer, and the piano's still strapped in and doing just fine. But we're, feeling like our hearts are pounding out of our chest. That's still to this day the most insane hour of piano moving by far.
Well, good thing to knock out the first 6 months of business, not something recurring that you're having to experience.
Yeah, we'll have to. We're gonna start doing videos of some of the moves we encounter, because a lot of people are gonna be
entertaining.
Mind blown with what we have to do. So we'll make sure to start posting those. For everybody.
That could do well on TikTok. I feel like that's one of those you're just scrolling through and they're like, how are they gonna move this piano? And then you just move it.
I agree. We'll
Very
do it
cool.
for sure.
All right. Well, Joshua, thank you so much for joining us on the Best Company podcast. Excited for what you're doing with your business, and very cool that you started from the ground up, learned the ropes, and then kind of did your own thing. I think it's very cool, and you're growing. So we wish the best of luck to you. And again, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We'll see you.
See you later.